business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
In the past weeks, 15 million people, or 10% of the workforce, have lost their jobs due to the economic slowdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In total, more than 26 million people filed for unemployment benefits since the start of the crisis, a staggering number that is only expected to grow in the coming weeks. Millions will now be forced to grapple with how to stay healthy and pay their bills. While meeting basic needs is paramount, laid-off workers should utilize this interruption in their careers to develop new skills which will drastically help them to fix their next opportunity in an unpredictable post-coronavirus labor market. Welcome to TVN Business Daily. I am Chiwendu. This is Yego, and today we shall be discussing on beating unemployment post-COVID-19. My guest will espouse more on that, but before then, let's look at the business updates for today. The country foreign reserve, which stood at $38.07 billion at the end of 2019, fell to $34.9 billion at the end of the first quarter of 2020. To make forex available to operators in the economy, the Central Bank of Nigeria sold forex from the country's foreign reserves to achieve stability of the exchange rate and provide liquidity despite the low revenue from oil sales. During the last monetary policy meeting, the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, said external reserve position stood at $34.9 billion in March 2020, as against $38.07 billion in December 2019. Consequently, he said the value of the naira at the investors and exporter window were readjusted by 4.53% to 380 naira per dollar on March 20, 2020, from 363 naira 53 kobo per dollar as of the end of December 2019. The President's Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Aminu Gwabade, has said that the movement was as a result of recklessness on the side of speculative operators. The refineries owned by the federal government recorded a total loss of 18.96 billion naira in the first 2 months of this year, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has said. Latest data from the NNPC show that the refineries, which were managed by the corporation, lost 9.60 billion naira in January and 9.36 billion naira in February. Nigerian African top oil producer relies largely on importation for refined petroleum products, as its refineries have remained in a state of disrepair for many years despite several reported repairs. The refineries, which are located in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Warri, have a combined installed capacity of 445,000 barrels per day, but have continued to operate far below the installed capacity. Given the devastating blow coronavirus has dealt businesses in the past few weeks, business owners in the country have demanded 1-year tax break, among others, from the government to enable them to recover. This was contained in the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry COVID-19 Impact Report survey released on Sunday. It was signed by the Director General of LCCI, Dr. Muda Yusuf. Apart from 1-year tax relief, the business also asks for a suspension of the implementation of the new value-added tax regime rate till next year end. However, they demanded the incentive and for healthcare and pharmaceutical companies, airlines, manufacturers, agro-processors, small and medium enterprises, and the hospitality sector. Ekiti State Government has approved the development and operation of an independent power plant in the state to improve power supply in the state. The Commissioner for Information, Muyiwa Olumilwa, who disclosed this on Sunday, said the IPP would also reduce costs incurred in the provision and fueling of generators. Olumilwa, who said the project was approved by the State Executive Council during its virtual meeting last week, said the IPP is expected to be operational in 9 months and save 276 million naira yearly for the state. According to him, the project, which would be executed through public-private partnership, is expected to enable some strategic areas of the state to enjoy uninterrupted power supply. And that's the business update on Television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Osiso. Now let's go to the streets of Abuja to get the views of business people on how the COVID-19 has affected their business. The program continues shortly, so stay with us.
Nigerian economy is the kind of economy that some people feed from doing daily activities, and we don't come out daily, they don't get to eat. So I'm just imagining how we're going to survive this time from this kind of ailments and all that. But I'm just sure we're going to get through it because Nigerians know how to get through stuffs.
In fact, it has really crippled so many businesses, especially in the social media. It's really affecting them. And other in education. No schools now have closed down. Nobody is working. So many business, especially the social network businesses, are running down because they are not having much customers as usual. So that is the way I think it's affecting Nigeria.
The business has to be affected because business deals with people. And when you cannot come out to interact and transact with people, so whatever you are doing has to be affected.
Particularly, Nigeria, is a dumping ground for China market. I get me. So, we do buying and selling. So, people can't go to outside to bring out goods anymore. That is number one factor. Number two factor, people cannot, go to the public place anymore. Because we were told that you can contact it through coughing, sneezing, and all that with body fluid, body contact, and all that. So, not just Nigeria business, it affects Nigeria economy.
Thanks for staying with us, and in case you're just joining us, it's still TV and Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on beating unemployment post-COVID-19. Our guest is here in the studio. He is a human capital developer, a capacity builder, and the national president, Youth Nigerian, Comrade Chris Robert. You're welcome to TV and Business.
Thank you, Chiwendu.
Yeah, it's good to have you again, and you look good, I must confess.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the population in Nigeria. Over 90% of the population in Nigeria live less than $2 per day. How would you explain this?
Though the reality is the realities of today, anything that comes up now is easily being attributed to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I think we were a bit close to that before now. Productivity has always been down, unemployment rate is high. Then out there, you look at people, much is not happening. Exchange rates are also on the downside on our own. So all these have their tolls on the cost and the standard of living of the people. So today, poverty rate in Nigeria is seriously alarming because you see it continually, the ranges between the have and the have-nots. A lot of factors are contributed to that over the years. So it's a biting reality, and it's a very ugly truth about our situation today.
Okay, looking around you notice that factories and businesses, especially small and medium enterprises, are being closed down due to the fact that the COVID-19 is rampant and is increasing on a daily basis. Like today, we had over 392 cases just today. So how do you think people actually survive in the course of this COVID-19 in Nigeria now?
It's you see, it's not surprising that a situation like this is coming up. Over the years, we've been at the front line of the advocacy for an alternative, especially the contemporary ways of doing things other than the way it had been done here before. Organizations that over the years have gone digital could be able to do the things leveraging on the power of universal connectivity of virtual realities are finding it easy today to be able to cope with the effects of this. But here in our nation, some of the infrastructure needed to actually be able to power this type of sector have not been on ground. We've been doing things with the understanding or the belief that things will always be as it used to be. Unfortunately, we're in the days that we can no longer pretend again. Each and every one of us understands that times have changed and the way things have been done today have practically changed, and it's got us very much almost unawares. So it's affecting all businesses today. Like you can see, being able to you run the type of business that your workforce need to be physically present at the job place. Now we are being restricted. People cannot turn up to their place of business and all that. So because of the unpreparedness, the effect is there, seriously.
So what do you think is the alternative way out of this?
The alternative way out of this for us, I think, is to do what India did. What India, did over the years, because we are currently in a situation that is very similar to that of the nation of India. We have a lot of similarities with them in population, in poverty level, and all that. But a time came up and they started to diversify their economy and their way of doing things, and they started investing more into digitalization, into tech and tech development. In the year 2018, the whole world was shocked when they realized that the nation of India realized about $181.4 billion US from IT and ITES. So people were shocked at that, because that was here in Nigeria, that was the same year that, according to the Central Bank report on our total revenue from oil sector was about $24 billion US. And India was raising this type of then. But look critically into it. People realize that somebody like Sundar Pichai, that's the CEO of Google, Raja Sev, CEO of Nokia, Ajape Sajabanga, the CEO of MasterCard, all these people like Satya Nadella, that's the CEO of Microsoft, Satanu Naraye, CEO of Adobe, all these are Indians, and they are leading in the tech industry. So when they begin to repatriate their gross domestic product, as gross national product, GNP, you see what it brings as a revenue to the country is very amazing. So what they did is what Nigeria should start looking towards now. Although we're going to be having a situation that looks almost like an emergency because we are in it already. We are in it already. But that is the simplest way out at the moment. That's the simplest way out. We have to give more time to tech development. We have to give more time to digital jobs. I've been able to reach out to some of our people who are much into software development, people that are much into tech, have these tech skills right now. They are the ones that are finding it a bit easier, because schools today have to run online. Churches are looking for apps to do the things. Any form of business that actually does with people are, flying online. And that is the reason why they within the banking sector are not feeling much of the impact of this COVID, because before this time, the banking have situated themselves in online and digital operations. So they can actually be able to run with little effect on the distance. So that is what the average Nigerian employee or Nigerian business person, Nigerian organizational leader should be looking at now. Because what we are seeing, we are not seeing a solution to it anytime new. That's anytime soon. Even if we overcome the COVID-19 something similar also that might hinder people's free movement of businesses might come up. And apart from that, that is the way forward.
So how soon do you think Nigerians can actually do this, to help us in our daily activities?
Development is a process.
Okay.
Growth is a journey. When we look at this thing, you see, there's something we call contributory negligence in law. When the recklessness or the mistake of more than 1, 2 or more people have resulted in a situation. So when you are trying to remedy a situation like that, you have to take it up from where it starts. Take it up from where it starts. So if we're looking at it with its effect, maybe if we get to the questions of unemployment, we'll see where that question of unemployment started in Nigeria here. So what Nigeria can be able to do now, maybe if you're looking at Nigeria, maybe as a nation, the public sector, the government, is to put on that enabling instrument. Enabling instrument in policy, like the policy from the central bank with the national budget and this thing, that the fiscal policy. And if they do it, if they come up with the fiscal policies that should be able to stimulate the sectors and all that, they should be able to give a free hand for implementation to the private sector. Over the years, it has affected us so much negatively because we come up with very good policies. We come up with very good things that are maybe SIPs, that's social interventionist program, that should be targeted at bringing up results. But as soon as the public sector rise up to position in its implementation, they failed over the years. We understand that management of things like this are easier for the private sector. So if they are coming up with SIPs, with policies that are targeted to stimulate the economy again, they should be able to get the private sector more involved in the implementation, then have more or less like the formulative and the oversight responsibilities in them.
Okay, looking at the rate of unemployment in Nigeria, it cannot be overemphasized. So what can you advise Nigerians to do, especially now that the rate of unemployment has increased?
I am more interested in this particular question, maybe because that's the area I do this the more. If we begin to look at the issue of unemployment in Nigeria, even unproductivity, when you look at our population to GDP and all that, we have to take it down to where it starts. Because I think that we have a greater challenge of unemployability than unemployment. And it starts from the training systems that we have. We have adopted and been using a very outdated model of education. It's called content education, where people go to school. What you do is that you teach them based on read textbooks, you read what people have said and all that, then you write exams based on what you've read. That only educates or trains just a little part of your brain called the memory, the short-term memory especially. And that's where you find out in schools here in Nigeria, you see people that whenever you see students here begin to read, then you mean that this exam is nearby. We do not give so much to research and development. Where contemporary productive societies adopt to concept education. Concept education tax the mind. Design the mind to be solution driven, so that as soon as a problem is out, people are not out there to give analysis of what problems are, but should be looking at what should be the solution to bring us out of this. In fact, that was even the fundamental motive behind the subject of mathematics being mandatory. It's something that trains your mind to be solution driven. So most of us graduated through schools in Nigeria here, not just with this form of education, but came out without skills. And that is why you can see somebody who graduated with even a first class, a second class upper, 2 years after school, the person is telling that he doesn't have any job. And you look like this person, you've invested at least 17 years of intensive learning to get to that level. Then you cannot be able to look around to find out the challenges in the society and begin to ask sensitive questions, critical questions as to what could be the solution. So we have not just the problem of unemployment, we have a serious problem of unemployability. That is where it starts, on the side of the people, on the side of the people that are looking out for the jobs. Then on the side of the government, we have to give more to human capital development. In 2018, around May 2018, the founder of Abuja was here. When he met with our economic council, he told them that striving societies in the world today have moved from natural resources-based economy to human resource-based economies, whereby you begin to give more resources into the development of your people. Development of your people to infrastructures that actually help people. That's like schools, like programs that empower people, especially digitally. So that was the distance to our people. That was his advice to our people, that we shouldn't be giving more to your building refineries, you're doing this and that, you're depending on oil or any other form of natural resources. So if we are going to start solving the problem of unemployment in Nigeria here, our people must go into skill development, our people must go back to concept education. I came across a certain workshop, a carpentry workshop, and I saw about 9 small boys ranging between the age of 7 to 12. So I went there to find out what was going on because he had some beautiful work there. So he told me that these boys are apprentices, they are students, they are learning carpentry work, how to do furniture works and all that. And the beauty is that they are also students. When they go to school in the daytime, in the evening, they come back and they start learning. Some of them are between 7 years and 12 years. By the time that person is 17 years or even 20, such person have at least 8 years of experience in that skill. So when that person comes out with certificate, comes out as a graduate, and there is no job, no white-collar job out there, what will the person do? He will start working on the trade that they've already developed. So that is one of the things that is affecting us seriously on the area of unemployment here. I have friends I've associated, I've lived in some other countries where people actually, grew up, have been trained with these skills. A lot of things we cannot do here. I have a friend, a lady, that changes the roof of her own building, installs solar systems in her own house, and all this. So our people must start looking beyond just certificates. You see a person, he's a graduate, he's searching for a job. You ask, what do you have? All the person has is a paper. No skill, no ability. You can't even think of himself to say, okay, what can I be able to do? Let me start doing. Solving our unemployment challenges, we should start looking at skill development. Then we should align it with tech and digital skills. There are programs now that are out that have been, absorbing the pressures of a population like ours. We have big problems around that also. One of our greatest problems in the country today is power. Power. There are 5 main streams of generating of power. Commonest among them and the most sustainable among them is solar. And we have sun in abundance in this part of the world. And what does it take to become a solar technician or a solar engineer? We train people in this in even an interval of a week, and they get good in it. Every secondary school in Nigeria, especially the unity colleges, the federal government colleges, should be able to generate enough power for every community they are located. So we are not supposed to be depending on the public power. So we should have, because our people should be productive enough to, you look at solar, you look at CCTV, you look at things like tracking devices, access control on the tech skills. Then if you go into software development, coding, programming, this type of apps that people use to do online meetings, visual, these things, they are there. Another skill that people can be able to leverage on to give themselves jobs are skills like forestry, foreign exchange, trading. And most Nigerians do not realize something. You realize that before the lockdown, a lot of people, a lot of Nigerian youths were given into soccer betting, sports betting. Have you noticed that? Yeah. It became so rampant that in our millions, our youths were given to soccer betting. When I came close to start observing what was involved in soccer bet, I realized that the same skill required to succeed, to bet successfully and earn money in soccer betting, that is the same skill required for foreign exchange, because it has to do with studying, observation and project to forecast, finance. This one, they forecast sports. They say this game, whenever things happen like this game end up like this. They make projections and they put money on it and they win or they lose. That is also how to project cash flows. That's exactly the same skill required for foreign exchange trading. You look at things like cyber security. You look at things like mechatronics. You look at things like informatics. You look at things like nanotech. You look at robotics. These are the things that other nations are embracing this day and they are going ahead. Every year, Chinese government has a certain program, scholarship program for their citizens, and most of the time they send them to US. When they send these kids to US, they don't send them there to study history or to study sociology or to study political science. They don't study things like that. They don't even go there to study law. They go there, they study nanotechnology, nanoscience, they study informatics, they study robotics, they study mechatronics. These are the type of this in the study. They major most in artificial intelligence. By the time they come back, the nation has become the global capital when it comes to economy.
Okay, now you've spoken so much about the unemployed. What about those with a white-collar job? Do you advise them to also add other skills to what they're doing?
One of the most terrible blunder anyone can make in our times today is to, even you, to feel I have a secure job, I have a job I'm doing today, because time has proven that nothing is static. Nothing is stable. No matter what you do, the economy doesn't even permit you to have only one stream of income. You must have something else that you attach to it. There was this comedian that was saying something. He said these days that you realize that somebody sets up a hospital or a clinic or a pharmacy where they sell pharmaceutical this thing. If you set up the clinic, you go to the back of the clinic and put a small mortuary there. So that, yes, a morgue there. So that when the person comes in, if you get healed, you pay. If you die, they move you to the mortuary, you pay from there. So that is to say that no matter how you do it, there should be an additional stream of income. No matter what you do as a Nigerian youth today, no matter the type of industry you find yourself, ensure that you have at least one skill that you can monetize or enterprise to earn you extra this much income. And maybe in subsequent destiny, if we have more time here, we could be able to look into those skills that are on high demand, high earning skills. I realize that when even in Abuja here, for instance, we talk about unemployment. People say have been looking for a job for a year, for 2 years. If you search very well, what those people do is actually go to companies and send CVs. There are jobs that people don't look, they don't search for it. A plumber, for instance, a person that have plumbing skill, some of them earn more money than white collar. Drivers, people that have driving skills, earn more money than all these things. So you must look in, adopt a particular area you have passion for, develop yourself and monetize on it. It's a must that anybody now, no matter if you are employed or you are unemployed, you must be able to have a skill that you can monetize.
All right, thank you. So what's the role of the government in this rate of unemployment now?
Like I said also from the beginning, the role of the government in economic development is more on infrastructure. You make the policies, you create the enabling environment, you give the instrument to the people, then you allow the people to actually implement it. You understand? You allow the people to implement it, and you have more of an oversight responsibility, monitoring and controlling, to ensure that whatsoever be the objective of such programs are being met. So government own is more or less create the distance, create the environment, do the policies that are there. There are things that there are measures, there are policies that you put in place, and it helps people. Like the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, from the news now, they are asking, they are demanding that they should ease them of tax for a period of a year. Look at other forms of taxations also that are added to it, because there is so much pressure on the workplace today. There's so much pressure on, especially the small and the medium scale businesses. So they are battling with how to meet up with salaries of workers while workers are at home. They are also battling with taxations on the side of government. So government now need to play more of a mother role to the society, to the government economy today. To the economy today. So we need this at much scale. Then also, there are also some other bilateral deals that government can engage with some other more advanced countries, especially when it has to do with tech. When it has to do with tech, because these things are not domestic to us. They are foreign. They are things that are coming from elsewhere to our place here. So they have to engage in such programs that make these things available for our people. They can engage the telecom service providers. For instance, people can easily engage in research and development online, leveraging on the social media, if these things are affordable. The data are affordable, the things, the softwares that people could, these are type of things that you could do, and it gives an enabling environment to your society to actually grow in these areas.
Like, I actually support the fact that you said that government should act like a mother in this season, especially for the power supply now in Nigeria. I think the government need to play a role there in the power supply in Nigeria.
Yes, you see, I told some people, I was on a panel somewhere some time ago outside the country, and I told them that my country, Nigeria, is one of the easiest country to lead. Nigeria is one of the easiest countries to lead. So many people wanted to know why, So I told them, here our people have almost self-sufficient, doing almost everything for themselves, including things that the government should, do for us. One of the areas is power. And now, putting the cost of power on the people will be very, pushing on there. So government could be able to, and I think something is coming from that. Because we heard from the distributors, they said some, I don't know how serious that is anyway.
Okay, let us wait for President Muhammadu to address the nation today, this evening.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Comrade Chris Roberts, for coming on TV and Business. It was good to have you.
Okay.
All right. That's the much I have for you today on TV and Business. I am Chirwendo Osisiego, and don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day.